Welcome to Robert's Garage, on the other side of the tracks. Alright, I guess the first step is to get this spring off without hurting myself. So for that, I'm going to need some thick washers or quarters, one of the two. Yeah, it looks like I might have to put the bike on the... No, I can't. Oh, yeah, you put it on the center stand, then you tape them all together. Alright. Let's try that. There's not a lot of room to play in this spring. Thought that would stretch that spring out a little more when I put it on the center stand, but no, not a lot more at all. Okay. It's just gonna have to do, I guess. Okay, I used the monkey wrench to like squeeze some washers in there. Let's get it off the center stand now and see what we got. Alright, looks like that gave us some room here. Pushing the stand up to relieve all the tension on it. And I believe I can just pull this off now. There it goes. Just like that. Lord have mercy. That was a little tougher than it should have been. Okay, let's get the old center stand off. Looks like a cotter pin and a piston. And then we'll work on getting the new one on, and then, my golly, the worst part, getting that new spring on. Alright, let's go. Alright, the instructions advise take off this exhaust cover so that you can get this piston out. And they may have a point. This gets out to a certain... This piston gets out to a certain length that's going to hit right here. So we need to take this cover off. I've done that once when I was testing out the Shark Road exhaust. So it's not too difficult, I don't think. There's a plastic push pin here that holds this plastic cover on the crash bar. That comes right off. And then there's a couple of bolts that hold the rest of it on. Looks like a 5mm. Looks like a 5mm. Okay. I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers to pull this cotter pin out so that we can then get the piston out of there. Yeah, there's the cotter pin right there. So this thing is kind of cruddy. A lot of gunk in here from riding. Let's straighten out this end of the cotter pin. These things are almost so pliable you could do it with your fingers. There we go. All right, get that in straight. Now this end should just pull through. Just like that. All right. Save you, Mr. Cotter Pin, because I'm sure we're going to be reusing you. Pull you off. Oh, and you go out the other way. Do you go out the other way? Seriously? Because there is no room that way. But I guess that would make sense. Gosh, I don't know how I'm going to get it out over there. Alright, well, we got to take off the other side exhaust cover, because this is the way the piston comes out. This is the thing it's going to hit, not the other one. So, yeah, this thing right here. Alright, so let's get this one out. Same procedure as the other one. I got the cover off so that piston can move out this way, but it's going to hit this. There's a bracket here that holds all of your hose connections, and I think I could bend it, but I'm not so sure I want to do that. There is a bolt up here that I could remove. Wonder how hard it would be just to move it out of the way. Yeah, maybe not too hard. All right, let's see if we can get that piston out. Got to get it past these hoses. Corroded and gross, so it doesn't really want to come super easy. Kind of rock the center stand back and forth a little bit, helps it move. Come on, you know you want to. Get this out of there, I'll clean it up. Put a little WD-40 on it. There you go. Piston out, gross as it is. And then, boom. Old center stand out, just that easy. Now we reverse the process for the new center stand completely. Let's clean up some parts. All right, well, no Robert White Moto project is complete without two things happening. The first thing is a trip to Lowe's, maybe 2 trips to Lowe's. It's a requirement. And then the second thing is bringing blood. Can't boil water without bringing blood. Luckily that second part hasn't happened yet, so look forward to that. But we are on our way to Lowe's because I need to clean that piston off. You know, it was grimy and kind of hard to get out. It shouldn't be. There's a lot of road grime on it from 3 years of riding. So I'm going to take some WD-40 and get it off of there, but I realized I don't have either any sandpaper at the house or a wire brush. How do I get to be 60x years old and not have a wire brush in my toolbox? I don't know. We're going to rectify that. Going to get a wire brush. And then some fairly heavy grit sandpaper to help us today. Going to get a small sheet of it, use some of that WD-40 and just grind down on it and get some of that grime and stuff off of it. Doesn't have to be perfectly clean. You know, just a side note here, Cadillac makes some beautiful automobiles. You guys know that my wife Sheila, she drives a Cadillac XT5, one of their mid-size, small-size SUVs. And man, what a freaking amazing ride that thing is. Smooth, comfortable, wow. And I really love the looks of it. Just great styling, Cadillac, great styling. But in addition to their SUVs, their cars are stunning. They're beautiful. That front end. Now, don't get me wrong. One small fender bender and you got a big repair bill. But it looks beautiful in front. Wow. And then if you just got money to throw, like money to throw, Cruiseman's garage kind of money to throw, that Escalade is a technological work of art. Like, wow. Wow. Have to sell a few kidneys for that one. All right, let's get on to Lowe's. My path to Lowe's here in Frisco takes me by a Sonic every time. I should really treat myself to an M&M Sonic Blast. You know, I think I've earned it. Sadly, no. I'll skip the calories today. Let's keep going. All right. Here we go, wire brushes. That's what I need right there. That one's a little firmer. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the firmer one. Wire brush. Easy peasy. All right, on to get some sandpaper. All right, everything you would want here in the world of sandpaper. You know what? I might get one of these bricks. That might be easier to handle. 180, 120 is a little tougher. 80 says remove. That's kind of what I need. Yep, I think that's going to work. 3M 80 grit. That's pretty rough. I think that's going to do the job. All right, mission accomplished. Let's go check out. All right, job's a good one, as they say. Let's get back to the task at hand. Try our best to pass Sonic without getting a yummy ice cream treat. Look at me with the willpower. Driving through Sonic because that is the exit to the parking lot, not because I'm just tempting myself. But driving straight through, not stopping. Granted, it's only 10 o'clock in the morning, but it's never too early for a creamy ice cream treat. But I withstood the pressure because we have something to do. All right, I think I'm gonna start with this brick first. Let's see, the washer that the cotter pin blocks is all cruddy. I'm sure that's supposed to be silver. And then the piston itself, a lot of road grime on it. See if we can get some of that off. All right, going to use some WD-40 just as a little lubricant. Got some shop towels down here for the overspray. Doesn't have to be crystal clean, but get some of it off. Yeah, all right. Coming off all right. Let's get a little more spray here. Pretty sure I'm going to use up that roll of shop towels this project. Tried to catch this overspray, not very good at it. Alright, I'm not going to give that a lot of elbow grease because it does not perform much of a function. But you can see that's much better. Alright, let's tackle this piston. Yeah, it's definitely smoother. Not much cleaner, but smoother. All right, let's give it one more little workout here, the top end of it. All right, I'm pretty sure that's going to be clean enough to go get some more grime on it. Yeah, look at that. Much better, definitely more smoother. Very nice. Okay. All right. Let's get this new stand in. Should be a little easier now that I've cleaned off some of that grime. Just the reverse of the way it was, so get this thing lined up. There's a good line. Stick this piston in over here. See if I can feel where that hole is. There it is. Oh, wow, that goes in a lot easier than it came out. Get these rubber hoses out of the way. Yep, that was pretty easy. Still got some rubber hoses over there in the way, though I can feel them. Come on now, rubber hoses. Get out the way. There we go. All right. Back in place. Let me find that cotter pin hole. There it is. Oh, and wouldn't you know it, the washer is way the hell on the other side. Because Robert don't remember to do stuff like that. Okay, let's do it. All right, got the washer. Slide the washer over. Easy peasy. Stick that cotter pin back in where it goes. Come on now. This is usually where I bring blood. There we go. Cotter pin is in. Let's bend it down. All right, got that side. Let's do this side now. There we go. That's a dunner right there. Now we just need to connect a spring. That ought to be easy. Ooh, that's a lot looser with all that, without all that grime on there. All right, let's get to the hard part. All right, I have hammered a bunch of washers in here. As many as I could fit right now. Let's see if we can get it on. Put it over this peg first. Lift this up. Ooh, we are almost there. Let's see, we are almost there. Look at that. Is that on? I think that's on. I think that's on. Yep. Looks on to me. Now we just need to somehow get these washers out of here. There we go. Yeah, not hard at all. Gotta work them. Washers work like a champ. All right. And there we go. Springs that puppy right back up. I think this job is done. Let's put these exhaust covers back on, get this place cleaned up a little, and give her a try. All right, I can tell you that was easier to get it up on the stand for sure. I took a tape measure to both the original stock center stand and this ride-off stand, and from the piston to the ground on that stand was 8 inches. Piston to ground on this one is 7 inches. So you're gaining an inch here. Downside is that the back wheel is no longer off the ground. That's why they call it a ride-off stand, because you can put it in gear and simply ride off the center stand rather than shaking it violently and dropping like I had to do on the other stand. So let's start up the bike and see if this ride-off really works. Now, the problem with the rear tire being on the ground is you can't clean it anymore on the center stand, unless most people with this kind of center stand, this ride-off center stand, say go get a wide piece of 1x4 and put under the center stand when you want to clean the wheel, and then you can lift the bike up on that 1x4 and it does get the back wheel off the ground at that point where you can clean it. Or you can move your bike to the edge of your driveway. There's a natural 1.5 to 2 inch lip on the end of the driveway. Most everybody has it. You can set your center stand right on the edge of that lip and put it on the center stand easily, and your back tire will be on your driveway, not in your garage, and it will be naturally an inch or so more off the ground. It'll be like you were on the old stand before. So either one of those two methods will probably work for me when it comes time to clean this thing, and Lord knows it needs to be cleaned. But let's start Jarvis up here and see how easy it is to get off of this brand new ride-off center stand, shall we? Brace myself. Put the brake on first. Put it in gear. Let the brake off and give it a little gas. Oh, wow. See that? That was super easy. Wow. Now, a couple precautions that when you read the instructions, they tell you this. On this particular stand, type of stand, You don't want to set the center stand with your nose down, like in a parking lot on a slope where your nose is down. It too easily can roll off that way, especially on these DCTs. Now I'll have the bullet brake engaged every time, so I'm not too much worried about that, but just for you guys, if you don't have the bullet brake, don't be setting it on the center stand with a nose down incline. Yeah, it could be problems. So either look for a slight, well that's a decline, but look for a slight incline where your nose up when you put it on the center stand, okay? Or set your brakes. All right guys, thanks for joining me today. Successful install, did not bring blood. That's pretty much amazing right there. And okay, we'll see you again soon. Until then, ride safe and God bless.